For HTML, start by creating a div container, inside of which will be a form element and a div with a class result. The form will have two parent elements, input container and submit container. Input container has three child elements with a class input item. Each one of these items will have a label, an input field, and an empty small element to show the error message later, giving us the following result. And here's the code for submit block. Next, the result div. It has three h1 elements, each with a span. One span will have ID of year result, the other has ID of month result, and so on. This is what the HTML file will look like. In JavaScript, start by defining the variables. We'll get the input fields and the span elements, which will output the results. Finally, we'll also query select the form element which handles the submit click. We'll also define 5 more variables. Date is a date object allowing us to access the current day, month, and year. Note that we need to add 1 to the current month, and the months array which contains number of days in each month. The function validate returns a variable named validator which will either be true or false. It collects the 3 input elements and loops over them, each time defining their parent element and checking for 3 cases. If the input element is empty, it changes some styles and sets the text of the small element to an error message and setting validator to false. The same thing is done for the other 2 cases. The second function which handles the submit will proceed after checking that the validate function returns true and input fields have no errors. This function calculates age how we usually do it by taking the difference between our birth date and the current date. However, it checks for 2 irregular cases where birthday is more than current day or where birth month is more than current month, and it adjusts our variables accordingly.